Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Riyadh Diaries. With me, I have students from Madina Islamic Senior Secondary School. It's located along Masaka Road, found in Sanji Katereke. Today, we are going to be discussing about sex education. Are students getting that enough knowledge about sex education in schools or not? Riyadh is my name, as I said earlier, and this is Riyadh Diaries. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my name is Hussein Bukenya. I'm in senior six. I offer history, Islam literature, and logical and the calm one.
Okay.
Bula Hashim Ali,
Yeah.
the truthful one.
Okay.
Senior 6.
Okay.
I do mathematics, economics, and Arabic language.
I'm Bushra Kasi. I offer mathematics, entrepreneurship, and literature. I'm in senior 5 sciences.
I'm Abdurazak Mataka. I offer history and literature. And I don't believe in bragging before results come out.
All right, so today, as I said earlier, we are going to be discussing about sex education. Do you think sex education should be compulsory in secondary schools? And why should it be compulsory, if need be? I'll start with you.
They say should be. We negate it.
So you guys are like, no, it should not be? You're opposing?
It should not be
Should not
compulsory.
be.
All right, so which side should I start on? The ones that are
There are
saying...
people saying it should.
Okay, over to you, Mataka. I'll have to start with you. Do you think sex education should be compulsory in secondary schools?
Yeah. I firmly believe and stand with my argument that sex education should be made compulsory in secondary schools.
What is sex education?
Sex education is a field of study that aids learners with the practices and ways or attitudes of reflecting with sexual behavior. Sex education doesn't focus on teaching learners how to play sex. No, but sex education aids learners how to protect themselves in such situations, such circumstances. That's the essence of sex education. And I believe this party has it wrong, but I wish to rectify this by the end of this session.
Judging too early.
Please, I'll throw you out of this panel.
Good.
Proceed.
Let me give him some time. Speak out.
No.
Continue.
Continue.
I've seen losers fear before even the battle starts.
Wow.
I'm just on the definition and I see people yapping from...
Okay, please, Mataka.
Very funny story.
Why do you think sex education should be compulsory in senior secondary school?
I believe sex education should be made compulsory in secondary schools. Why? At this age, the age of secondary, many things happen. This is a period, senior 6. This is a period when we are getting exposed to the world.
Yeah.
So I believe ignorance isn't worthy to be attached to at this age. We are so old for that. I need to know how things are done. I need to know how to avoid some things. This is the reason why people don't know that STIs exist.
Yes.
People don't know how to protect themselves from pregnancy.
Yeah.
People don't know how to handle themselves in such situations. They think I'll just marry and things happen automatically. No, you need to learn how to do this and this before you get into the marriage. That's the reason why we are seeing high rates of divorce. Why? Because they just go ahead with their ignorance and apply their
I just have
own knowledge.
one question before you continue.
Pose the question.
The question is all about, let me remember, how should I pose it for you? Okay, try to engage irrational nature of man. Just engage irrational nature of man.
And
Your argument.
To get back to my argument, and I want to remind you that I never came here to please you or to do as you say. My emphasis of coming here was not to argue, first of all, because I hear you calling them arguments, but my
to
aim of
give
coming
us
here was
the
to give us
information
the
why.
information. These are facts.
Yeah.
These are facts. When you look at many institutions have started adopting the sex education curriculum.
Yeah.
I think this party thinks the topic sex education has just been brought up from a movie.
Yeah.
Sex education exists in different schools and institutions. You know, sex education isn't something that's just been brought up as a joke or something. No, the reason why they're proposing sex education because it's already existing and the positive effects of sex education are already prevailing. So I don't know what you mean. So when should you learn
Fall.
about? When should you learn about sex education? When you're married, your wife should teach you. Your ignorant wife, she'll teach you how to do this and this. Are you sick?
Okay,
Contradiction. Thank you very much.
Number two, sex education was in place up until 2018, where it was
Debated
debated about.
in the
In
parliament.
the meantime, it was paused. So it turns out you're the ignorant one in this party. This is the thing.
You're contradicting one.
Number one, we saying it should not be made compulsory in school. We are not targeting you. You're in senior 6. There's nothing. There's nothing. You logically don't know about sex.
Yeah.
Okay? However, we're saying it should not be made compulsory in schools. We are looking at the generation coming behind us.
Generation
Okay,
Z.
it's not. This is me being selfless. That is you being selfish. That's the difference between me and you in this house. Okay, you come here and tell us when you marry. Okay, when you marry, what?
wife should
How
teach
will you know what to do? How, did you tell Adam what to do? Did you? Or back in the day there was some form of sex education you told Adam and Eve to engage in. If you believe there wasn't, you shouldn't be calling people ignorant. before you tackle the other
You can't bring Adam and Eve in this topic. I don't know what is this. Are we in the old period?
Okay, no.
Let me tell you this.
There he goes.
Listen. We're
There
living
he
in a
goes.
period.
There he goes
We're
again.
living in a
You know what, I'll
period
open for him.
where
Shut up.
there has been rise and emergence of new diseases, new STIs, and new whatsoevers. So, back in the days of Adam and Eve, you never had to wear the condom. Why? Who said Eve had AIDS or Eve had gonorrhea or whatsoever? But you're living in an age that has been spread with a lot of viruses and sicknesses.
Yeah.
I have
You
a
need to know.
question.
Listen.
I have a question.
Please,
You need to know
let him. You're going
what
to,
to
you're
do.
going to have that question.
You
Let
need
him
to
first
know-
complete what he wants to say.
Pardon. You need to know what to do in order to avoid what bad that can happen to you.
Thank you.
I don't know, even if you know that I should wear a condom to protect myself from this and this, or to protect myself from STI from this and this, or to not get the other party pregnant. In the first time, to begin with, you are not born with this knowledge. I don't know where you acquired this from or from where, but still, the fact that you acquired it from somewhere is sex education. You can't be born.
He doesn't
you
know what we are
no,
talking
listen.
about.
He
You
literally
can,
forgot.
no,
He's
listen.
off track.
Listen. You can't be born, or you can't just come in school and whatsoever, or you can't do things without acquiring them from somewhere. However, I'll tell you this.
Mamroki, please.
I'll tell you
Doesn't
this.
know what he's
I'll tell you
talking
this.
I'm Rocky.
Bukenya, at this stage, I'm sure you people, you people sitting at the other party, don't know anything about how sex works.
Thank
Listen.
you for contradicting
Listen.
again.
You have no proof.
Listen,
All right.
Okay, Mamroki, I think my roadmap for this kind of speech is going to be number one characterization of what sex education basically looks like in schools, and then I give you an analysis on who the stakeholders it's supposed to
He
be.
actually said
held
you can
on.
learn sex education from outside school by hearing it on radio.
Yeah, and
Have
then
not
who
seen
said
that.
and then
radio?
another thing would be his contradictions, I
Yeah,
think.
he
Yeah?
has been saying a lot.
Okay,
of
for example, let me start with the contradictions. He says we are not speaking about anything concerning how you play sex, but he
and
tells us
later on wearing condoms.
no, leave alone wearing condoms. Will your wife teach you? What does a wife teach a husband? What happens in bed? And we are speaking about schools. And the other thing, he contradicts by asking us a big question. You people don't know how to.
We don't know how sex works.
We are
You
still,
could be right.
we are still, yeah. We
Oh.
are
Why
still
would I want to
studying.
know
Why
how
would I
sex
want-
works at
why would
excuse
I
me.
want to know how my
So you
body-
thought when
how
I
get
said
my
you don't know how
bag?
sex works.
Okay.
So the only thing you understand about sex is the sexual mating or the sexual intercourse between two parties. That's the only thing that comes with your mind.
I did
So,
tell you
yeah,
that.
we
If you
have
had
the
acquired sex
technology.
education from somewhere,
that is just
you'll know that the
from my
basis
mind.
that
Okay,
sex
those are your
has
words. Now let me
his
give you
words.
characterization
Listen.
of what sex education basically looks like. Vis-a-vis giving children knowledge on sex. Vis-a-vis giving children knowledge on sex. You're supposed to give them protective measures, teach them about STIs, and in the long run, you have to show them the practicability of how sex is supposed to be in and of itself. That's why when it was being debated in the parliament of Uganda, one of the ministers came out and said, irrational nature of students. People you're going to tell about the vagina in class of science, and they're going to say, wow, how does that look like? And they will feel like they want to explore. How do you feel like if I tell a student about, okay, leave alone the condoms, because basically I was going to ask you, what do they teach in SST?
Oh, let me ask.
What do they
Let me
teach
ask.
in biology?
Excuse me.
Science.
You said
They
when you hear
teach
about
that science. Sex education is all about boys.
Excuse
you put
me.
on condoms like this. Yeah, because
You
know
said-
that is sex education.
He wants to say something.
You
You
want- okay,
said
have a chance.
when you hear about vagina, you'll be excited whatsoever. What? How
We're
old are
speaking
you?
about
Listen,
irrational
listen,
nature of
listen. How old are you?
students.
Not
Since
all.
you're P7, listen,
God.
P7, listen, since you're P7, senior 4, you're already introduced to the sexual world. You know that the vagina works like this and this, you know how breasts work like this and this, and you're excited. And listen, the other second thing, the other second thing, listen, the other thing, basing on the size or how you interpret things, and how you
Please say
understand.
something. You're just
Listen,
quiet
excuse
on
me,
the panel.
sorry.
This is not all
I
about
think,
being logical,
who says
but
they're
rather
encouraging you? Who
this is-
says they're encouraging you
this
to
is
play sex?
realistical.
Who
Okay.
says they are
We're
encouraging you
not
to play sex?
Shakespearean
Who
around
says?
here. We are trying to be realistic.
Who says they're encouraging you to
At the
play
time
sex?
whereby
Answer
you're trying
me.
to
I believe one person on either side is getting
Okay.
on fire.
Okay, then answer my question. Who says they're promoting sex? Who says they're
We
teaching you how
told
to
you
enjoy
irrational.
No one.
sex?
No
You have
one.
another question.
Irrational nature of
No,
man.
then they are not trying to.
That means you're not understanding the basis of the
We are not
topic.
saying they are
We're not
doing.
trying to say
We are
that.
saying at some point we are realizing it is irrelevant knowledge.
Irrelevant.
Irrationally
Very irrelevant.
speaking on
I mean, before
students.
it was introduced in schools, how did people know what to do?
That we have the singers.
Who says sex education
No,
isn't
we
in
have
some
less time
schools?
at home.
Oh
Then
my
how
God.
are the
Oh,
listeners
God.
going to
God.
hold
Sex
It's
us?
like
education,
about
listen,
Uganda,
the
my
background,
He doesn't know what he's
Listen.
talking about.
All right,
Hallelujah.
please say
the
something.
background
Why do you think
of sex education was mostly in the international schools. That's why sex education is very prevalent when it comes to the Cambridge curriculum. When you look at sex education, it even has its own course unit in the Cambridge curriculum. So you people of the UNEB or the local curriculum try to adopt
we are
this
all in
ideology.
We are
Yes.
all in
You
UNEB.
inclusive.
Thank you.
But
You're
I'm
not
more
in
exposed than you, I'm
You're
sorry.
not in Cambridge.
But
You're in
then-
UNEB.
He said he doesn't believe in bragging.
Yeah,
He
he
just
doesn't
did.
believe in bragging.
He just did.
No, you know,
Contradiction.
sorry. You know the reason why?
Thank
You know the reason why?
Sex lovers.
You know the reason why Africans are. I'm sorry that
You're
I'm an
African.
African.
You're
Next
African too.
contradiction.
You know the reason why?
Contradiction.
People like you or people like you are the
You're also a
reasons why
person. Shoot.
Africa is still being behind.
Oh.
We're trying to progress. We're trying
Yeah.
to acquire knowledge about certain topics
but
and
teaching a boy
behaviors.
how to wear a
But you're
condom,
trying
you're teaching
to
So
development.
conclusively,
make people
conclusively.
behind,
Yes, it's
remain behind.
default.
Why?
Wow.
So
Because like if someone doesn't know how to use it and goes play
Conclusively
sex,
on your side, what is
HIV,
it?
they're going to get HIV. After
Please,
getting HIV, people are going to
conclusively.
die.
Please give her time. Why do you think sex education should be taught in schools?
I said sex education has to be taught in schools because like some people are going to reach outside the world when they don't know what to do. It's going to reach a point when a boy like hears some rumors from the friends that a girl like what, then it reaches a point when he wants to do it, but doesn't know how to do it, doesn't know how to put on a condom, doesn't know anything.
Thank you for siding with us. Wow, thank you.
But
You
when
deserve a
they
hand
teach
clap.
at school, we'll know that it's going to be done like this or done like this, so that to prevent the other side of getting diseases, that people are going to
basically-
die.
We are still talking about why sex education should be taught in secondary schools, and I was still with you, Bushra.
Okay, like what they teach us, like they help us not to engage like in sex stuff, because like when I go and I have sex with someone, obviously I will get pregnant, or not I will get infected with some diseases even I don't know.
What will you do with your husband?
Please.
No, there I'm with my husband.
Okay.
First of all, I'm going to be first. My husband is going to be first checked.
That is true.
Thank
It's going to
Okay. Here, sex education. They are going to teach us when to have sex. What is the right time of having sex?
What do you do in P1?
What do I do in P1? I study.
Thank you.
Study what?
We don't know. You're speaking?
In P1, I should study. I should study how to learn how to socialize.
Okay.
That's not the age.
To
That's
socialize
not
with
Socialize
people who are
with
going
people
to
who are
do
going
bad
to do
things.
bad things and
which
bad
bad things.
But I
And
can't say the other.
Do you know?
related one.
Do you know? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Do you know that this era there exist diseases like HIV?
They existed by around 1980.
HIV is
No,
not a disease.
didn't exist in
Have any
okay,
idea
HIV
about
is
it?
a virus
That is
and
why.
AIDS is a disease.
But the government just put
No,
them-
let me first
the
speak.
government
No,
just
no,
advocated
no,
for
no,
that.
no.
Please,
No.
let me just do something for you.
should.
People never knew about HIV. Even when you look at the story of Fide Bongo Lutaya,
Yeah.
people thought he was bewitched until when he came out and said, no, this is a disease.
Oh.
Yeah, because people thought, okay, his hair plucked off, the bones were out. People thought, oh, the guy is bewitched, but it was HIV, and Ugandans or Africans had no idea about it.
Well, it's not.
It's
let's-
ignorance.
Even literally
It's
you.
ignorance. Ignorance.
This is not we
It's
being
not about
ignorant.
us being
It's-
ignorant.
This is we being
We're
self-
trying to
Sexual-
protect.
sex-
we are not negating teaching children about STIs. Understand? They can be taught in science. We're not teaching.
No,
we're not saying-
that's also
teaching
part
children
of
about-
sex education.
But which kind of sex
what do you
education?
understand by
No,
sex
that's
education?
for me, sex education. No, I'm asking it for you because you're not getting our side. All your side is talking about are things that we learn.
Things
Naturally-
We already know. We are already taught from P3, P4, P5.
Yeah, that's
in
sex
PSC.
education in school.
Oh my
Oh my
God!
God.
What's sex
In
education?
school, whatever you learn about, do they teach you how to put on a condom?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Which school is that?
Oh God!
There's this
go
thing
back.
called how to use. It's written.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's written
In
on
MK books.
Yeah,
You know,
in MK books.
Yeah.
How it
This
is
is a male
worked.
condom.
No, that's what we are
female
totally
condom.
against.
No,
Yeah, they
you-
teach. I mean, putting it on.
Yeah, that's what we
That
are
is what sex
No, 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 no.
education in
No,
and
no,
of
no.
by itself
No, no.
goes and characterizes itself.
Why do guys get pregnant? Why do girls get pregnant?
They
in
want to
schools?
test it. They want to know how it's done.
That's
In
why.
So
rationality.
this is why girls get pregnant in schools.
Number one.
No, number
They
one.
get pregnant in schools because okay, they violate the sex education.
Oh, okay.
Thank
okay,
you.
okay.
Because
Thank you, thank you.
you
Thank you.
told us yourself that sex education they are teaching you when to have sex.
Yeah.
I mean
Yes.
when, like
When.
When, like
When.
when.
But if
when.
you're
When.
telling me
If
they're
I-
getting pregnant in schools, that is sex education is teaching them to get pregnant in schools.
And at the time whereby you're going
No,
to
they're
girls
just
that at
ignorant.
the
That's
age of
ignorance.
18,
They
at
don't
16.
know.
They don't know.
No.
They haven't
Those
done
are
that
schools
It's not about
Please.
ignorance.
Are you
Ignorance.
pregnant?
No. You're not pregnant
Are
at the
you
time whereby you
pregnant?
haven't just studied sex education.
no,
Who
no.
is?
It's like telling a girl,
That girl.
for example,
Have you studied
it's like
sex
bringing.
education?
No,
Yes.
no, this is a question. It's like bringing,
Funny.
you realize what we call sengas. But senga never koja. No, those are sconch sex education teachers.
The way I don't like
if
those
we
people.
bring
Okay,
them, it's like bringing, no, no,
sengas.
first wait, we bring them in school. That you're going to tell a girl, now when you are having sex, you're supposed to follow this and this is
When?
sex education. And you're trying to
When?
advocate it in schools. Because if you go in the United States
Okay,
of
I'll
America,
repeat the
it's
statement
taught
I
in
started
schools,
with.
literally.
I stated earlier on that at this point, you as a senior 5, you as a senior 6,
You already know stuff.
there's nothing you do not know in that field.
Of course.
Okay, so this is the thing.
Am I pregnant?
Thank you.
you
No,
and you
why
say
do you want
no.
to be taught sex
Okay,
education?
and then
Because she has
I
gone
know.
to that.
If I didn't know, if I was outside, do you realize that girls
Education
outside
is not
get
just
married at
about,
18
it's
and
not
19?
just about pregnancy.
Yes.
It's
but it's
broad.
it's one of
It's
it's
broad.
one of the
It's one of
dangers.
We are
It's
trying to
one
look
of the
at
things
we're trying to
we
look
are
at
trying to
bringing.
prevent.
We're trying to we're
Okay?
trying to look at bringing that
Let me tell you,
broad thing
Bukenya,
and throwing
do you
it at
realize
this kind of head
before
that Gen Z
education,
had.
girls were getting married at the age of 9?
That wasn't because of
That,
because of
can you listen?
They
Can you
didn't
listen?
know
Can you
anything.
listen?
but that's do you
So sex education is
attribute
doing
that
what
sex
exactly?
education? You know, that
Okay,
was just
so
Let me
because of
explain to you the
world,
meaning
all
of.
the whole
Allow
world
me
being
to
Okay,
explain
first
to you the
wait,
meaning
first
of
wait.
sex education.
Why do you say sex education shouldn't be taught? Because you're
starters.
arguing, and I don't see the point why you're arguing.
For starters, number one, sex education is broad and wide. The mere fact that whatever the sections, just quote me well, the sections of sex education they want to bring in schools already exist. And we're already seeing them work out their magic. Kids in P6 are told that abstain from sex. That's enough. Kids are told that
I told the ABC.
they're told the ABC. Those are non-pharmaceutical
Allow me to make
interventions.
you realize.
First, wait,
Safe
they
for
told the non
condom use.
At that time, that's enough. Let the kid complete studies.
Wait
They
a
go
minute.
meet the
Where did
singer,
that
and then after,
kid learn
and then
how
after
to use a
they
condom?
go meet the singer, and then after. But we're looking at a time whereby kids. When we look at the places whereby actually even just looking at let's characterize the nations they claim sex education is in and it's successful. United States of America, at 16 a girl is having sex. Wow. And they want that to happen here because the girl knows that very well. I know how to use a condom. I should use a condom. That basically means that if I have sex
there are
at
these
this
things. What are they called?
age,
These things they put in those
or
things.
Do you know?
I'm forgetting there are these rings, the
Contraceptives.
UTI,
Yeah, those
the
things. You
contraceptives,
know how offensive they are to your health.
You
You've
do
not
realize
thought
it?
about that.
Let me tell you
Please
this.
tell
So
me,
which kind of sex
please.
education do you want?
Let me tell you. What is sex education?
Sex education.
She's
Wait, calm down.
okay.
And calm.
What is sex education?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You
teachers.
don't know.
Yes.
At this
Let
point,
me
you're the
teach
one
At this
who-
point,
Let
you're
me
a
teach
teacher.
you sex education.
Yeah.
We pray the teachers.
Sex education
Yes.
is learning when,
Uh-huh.
how,
Yeah.
when,
Uh-huh.
how,
with who
With whom
with who.
and why.
and why.
That's it.
Thank you.
And you guys
Yo,
say,
we love you.
say,
Yeah.
it's nature. It does itself.
Nope. Nature does it
Nobody
so.
said that.
You
This is the
say
thing.
it.
Said
No,
it. He
He
proved
said
it.
about the having of sex that it's not nature. Literally,
it
who
is
taught
nature.
Adam and Eve
It is
how
nature.
to? Adam knew
Good,
that I'm
good.
going this path.
Good.
I have to take this path.
Good,
Did
good,
you? Were you
good,
there
good,
till Adam and
good,
Eve?
good, 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 good. You know that, yeah?
Okay.
Now realize that in this generation we
Yes.
have like every beginning of there are new things that happen.
Yeah, generation Z.
Yeah, new generations, new things happen. No? Now I come to school, I find a guy. Imagine, I find a
Wow.
guy. I find a guy,
Yeah.
and the guy is like,
Please.
man, Shukrat, you know I love you, are beautiful. Well, we do this and this and this and this. I'll be like,
But Kenya, I'll throw you out.
I'll be like, then I like, the teacher tells me that, okay, sex education, now we have counselors, that's when it comes. Then the counselor's like, yeah, a guy can come and tell you this and this and this, but you might do it, but in this generation, you don't have money, you're going to go do it, that's sex education. It teaches you when. Then it's this is, no,
She's saying.
yeah, that's sex education, when to do it.
So when do they tell you
When
have
do
to
they
do it?
Is
Please. Stop mixing voices. I don't like it.
Sure thing.
So
It's a
they
sign.
teach you when to do it. You say that, no, you go to the guy, you say, this isn't the right time. I have to go. I came here to do this and this. I have this goal. This generation's girls, males, like every person has a goal. Sex education is going to teach you when to do it.
Okay.
Okay? Then you realize that girls outside, girls who don't, like you say, the natural thing, a guy can come, I'm from maybe a fence, a guy can come, it's like, Shukrat, what. At home they told me, they didn't give me any reasons as to why I shouldn't say yes to a boy. I can't go there because my mom has literally sent me for milk. I can't say yes. I literally will say yes. And you know those sweet words?
Put your arm down.
Those sweet words, I will literally go to that guy. Where's the sex education? Like, okay, yes, it's natural. I've done the natural thing. I'm pregnant. My parents are like, no, our reputation, you go away from here. So what do you suggest?
I see how ignorant you are. Because in the long run, you realize that by that time, the girl going there, she wants to go explore herself. But by the time a girl reaches P1, I asked you, what do they teach you in P1?
Not all
Girl,
that
boy.
Listen, even though it's a girl reaching P1 or a boy, they teach you, don't
She
take
has
gifts from
told you
strangers.
someone who
Don't
doesn't
listen.
study.
Someone
I
who
think-
doesn't study, in the long run, they still have parents who guide them.
Not all parents sit down with their kids and tell them something.
What are televisions and radios for?
Who tells you that
What do
everyone
you
has
watch on
televisions
television?
and radios?
Then
Like-
which world do you live in? Uganda
No,
or you live in?
no.
I don't even know the place in
Social
Uganda.
media contains immorality.
Ah.
It doesn't
Why would a
educate
parent,
about.
how would a person who doesn't know, who is ignorant, doesn't even know about following rules, have a phone?
No, like I follow the rules. I have a phone.
Okay,
for saying you follow the
time is
rules.
against us, I think. We should be winding up by now.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to tell me why you think your last remarks about why sex education should be taught in secondary schools.
I think sex education should be like taught in schools because sex education teaches a student when, how, and like what's the reaction. Why do you have to do sex?
Wow.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Why do you have to do sex? When do you have to do it? How do you do it? What are the repercussions?
Yeah.
Is this the right time? Is this what I'm going to get? Are the outcomes positive? Are they negative? That's the reason as to why we should introduce sex education in schools.
Thank you.
They should introduce sex education in schools because like they help people to know the problems which come out if you have sex at a younger age or like before marriage. The diseases which come and like the solutions to them. Yeah.
Okay, so to you, Bolaf, the talkative one, why do you think sex education should not be introduced in secondary schools?
Okay. For starters, I'm happy you gave me a chance to speak. Okay. I'm against introduction of sex education in schools. Not because I am selfish, not because I want to keep sexual skills to myself.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what to do.
Still as blank.
Yes, but I reflected upon the coming generation. In a generation filled with immorality and obscenity, okay, introduction of sex education is only giving these kids a better way, okay, of doing their immorality and obscenity. And that is something I can never frontline. Okay, I can never side with improving on way of doing of doing something bad, way of doing something immoral, way of doing something obscene. It's basically like saying vulgarism should be regulated in schools. Like some abuses should not be said, and others should be said. It's like saying Hashim should sideline with someone who says something like that. I'm obviously not going to say I'm sidelining with you who is frontlining vulgarism, because of course I'm not going to advocate for someone doing something bad in different ways. It's still something bad, even if the whole generation does it. So basically that's it.
So you stand on your ground, it should not be.
Oh, I'm not changing.
Okay, so your last remarks on why it shouldn't be introduced.
On a comparative analysis,
Yeah.
we realize schools already have knowledge that is suitable for students to learn and prevent them from having sex just from P1. All her points are irrelevant, all their points are irrelevant, because you tell me you get gifts from strangers, they call you. Why would you answer to a stranger when you're already told abstain from strangers? You go to P7, P6, even if you are not knowledgeable, you really realize that someone is calling me. Why are they calling me when they are not part of me? At a time whereby your parent has been able to even afford a fence around the house, that basically means that they can afford taking you to school. All the things we learn, issues of saying STIs, condoms, and all those things are taught in school, part of the science education. That basically means that introducing the real sex education, none of them gave us the true characterization of what sex education is. That's why I told them it's like calling for sconch, the singers and the kojas to come in school to teach students. Let it stay the way it is. Let the status quo stay the way it is. Now when you're done with studies, you go home. Now that's when your singer and your koja will start telling you, hey Shokrat, this is how it's done.
And at
My
that
daughter,
point, you'll know it's time to learn.
it's time to learn. But this time, it's not yet time. Study Shukrat. When a boy tells you, you are told abstain. Run.
Go tell mommy,
Punch
mommy,
the
this boy.
Mommy, or go to the teacher.
Do not nod
if you
like
see
this,
any of
do
us
this.
too. For us, we know nothing.
Still sex
For us, we're
education.
still young.
Okay, so thank you so much for your contribution
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
onto this discussion. It was a good one.
I know.
Well, that is all that we had for you. You had the students, all their thoughts and views about sex education in schools. The girls were like, yeah, it should be introduced, and yet the boys were like, no, it should stay the way they are because they're still young. When they grow up, they'll get to know what they're supposed to do. It has been Rukia, and this is Riyadh Diaries. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next time. Bye.